It has made our sport better. It has made our society better. And has made humanity better because it's out of the closet and we discuss it and we talk about it.
It sounds like Isiah Thomas is talking about curing cancer. Instead, he's talking about the sexual harassment suit that he and the Knicks lost to the tune of about $11 million, the one that was directly on him. Thomas, as you may have heard, inexplicably is now the guy running the New York Liberty. That is the women's basketball team, obviously, that plays at the Garden, that Mr. Dolan writes the checks for. Now, nobody at the Garden thought it was a bad idea to put him in charge of a women's basketball team. But the rest of the league turns out not too thrilled. In fact, other owners, they're making rumblings. They will block Thomas's appointment from getting an ownership stake in the team. I don't know what we can debate about this one other than who thought this was a good idea, ran it by anybody else? Where was the league on this? Where was the league management to say, don't even try this? We're all going to try. This thing's, I guarantee you, the other owners are going to put pressure. I don't know how he gets an ownership stake, too.
Well, what's clear, looking at this from a distance, Jim Dolan doesn't care what anyone else thinks.
Definitely.
He did this in defiance. Oh, New York media, you don't like my guy, Isiah? I'm going to put him in charge anyway. And guess what? I'm going to make him part owner of a women's basketball team.
And by the way, very close here to Dolan in terms of giving more advice in the Knicks here, just what they need in an important summer.
But Richard, but let me ask you a question.
But the idea that he did this as a gift to society.
But Richard, the Knicks, Cablevision, they have public relations people that craft some of the best lines that money can buy.
That's my question.
And so Isiah knew that was going to be question number uno.
So who gave him that line?
So who gave him that line? And they should be fired immediately.
I agree.
I'm prepared to take him at face value. This feels like it's a blessing for humanity and
No,
a blessing
it's a
for
blessing
society.
for journalism. It's a blessing for
now
journalism.
the topic is out there and people are talking about it. And it's, I can't.
Daily News had a nice cover story, but can't even say it. All right. Next one, Andrew, this is your old stomping grounds in Texas. A day after the massive biker gang shootout, we all know what happened there in Waco. 9 people dead, a slew of others here injured in a biker brawl here. This is what the Texas lawmakers decided would be prudent legislative action. They're working to loosen up gun laws. A bill to allow the open carrying of guns is on track to get approved. It means people can carry them and show them off. Andrew, help me with this. After national headlines of literally Chipotle, Twin Peaks, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend the establishment. They now want to make it more, that it was legal for these guys all pack heat?
All right, first of all, this was not my old, I believe you owe me an apology. That was not my old the argument is, and I'm not saying that I agree with this argument, but look, the open carry laws that are somewhat restrictive, which you wouldn't think would be the problem in Texas, clearly didn't stop all of these bikers from packing heat at this restaurant the other day. And if you want to make the continued example, which is maybe if some more people at the restaurant had guns, they might have been able to stop this shootout before, what were there, 170 people involved in the whole thing? So you might have been able to lay down some Texas Walker Ranger style
so just so I get the logic.
That's the argument.
I'm regular guy having a burrito over there was supposed to pull out a 6-shooter and get civilians involved.
I think it's like ribs. I don't think it's burritos.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So somebody would pull out a gun and then we'd be able to stop some of this before it expanded even further. Look, again, I don't buy this argument. I don't believe in this argument, but that's the argument. That the current laws didn't stop it, and if you had more people with guns, you might have been able to stop it.
The gun lobby won, didn't they? When it's all said and done. Well, when you hear silliness like this, it's just, they won.
Well, they didn't win yet, and this is honestly my little point here. This is why state legislatures are so important. Because at the end of the day, that is the kind of law that they can make in response. I suspect they wanted to have this open carry law for a long, long time. Now they got their foot in the door because this happened, and all of a sudden a conservative state legislature can enact this with a conservative governor.
But
and
you have thought, I'm sorry, the logic says to me, 9 people dead, gunfire breaking out in broad daylight. This is an argument we don't want more guns out there. How would the argument be we need to get more of them because we saw mayhem on the streets of Waco?
That is Andrew's argument, because if the guy eating the ribs,
Was going to stop 170 bikers,
he would have at least been able to protect himself and his family.
but no civilians were hurt.
I got to mention this too. Florida.
Why am I getting facts in the way of the story? But yeah.
Florida just passed a bill, and the governor's going to sign it, that during hurricane evacuations, people who don't have the right to carry a gun for a carry permit will be able to carry them during the evacuation
That's
for a
the
hurricane.
perfect
Because,
time we want
yeah,
people
you got
in.
everybody on the streets, tempers never get high. You never walk into a Walmart and have everybody fighting for the last bottle of water. That's the situation. It's an apocalyptic moment. Let's arm everybody.
Okay. Speaking of apocalyptic, some people were freaking out, Dom, when the president decided to go on Twitter here. But what started off as just, he's joining the social media age. It got ugly really quickly. He started his own Twitter account with a handle @POTUS. People are posting hate messages, and they're not tinged, but they are overtly racist. So my question is, it's one of two ways, which is, this was just a window into how a lot of people feel, or this gives, and a producer this morning had an analogy, which is people will flip a bird in the car to somebody else when they never would do that on the street. This allows the anonymity of the faux tough guys to be doing this routine. Mm-hmm. What do you think, just the level, and I can't even exaggerate the amount of hate and spew that came out the minute he started a Twitter account? Is it reflective of society, you think, or this is more reflective of just those people who hang out in the basement?
I like that. The ones that hang out in the basement.
My meatloaf, yeah.
I like that. That's really good. It's reflective in part of a little bit of racism on the part of some, but I think more just the idiots that, hey, I can say anything I want, First Amendment right, and they just start typing away. And I think they perceive, race as his weakness, so that's where they go. If it was George W. Bush, they would attack what they perceive to be his weakness. Whatever they perceive, I guess I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to put a positive spin on racism. I'm trying my best.
But we've seen it, we were talking this morning, any story that has anything to do with whether it's a Jewish person of prominence or a story that has to do with Judaism, the anti-Semitism that just vomits out of that.
It's terrible.
Why do people go on Twitter as national figures? I mean, it seems the negatives outweigh the positives.
Well, I
You're an
think,
elected official especially.
I think I'm a little bit Pollyannish. I think there's a tremendous reduction in civility and respect. And it's social media enables us to do it so easily. Like you said, you can just write anything you want. Who knows who you are and who cares? But honestly, he is the president of the United States. So don't vote for him. Campaign against him. Do everything you want. But you cannot insult a person.
And I hope the Secret Service really does look into it like
and they
they say
have
they
in a
are.
couple of the cases already. There's a difference. I mean, if you're on YouTube and you're commenting, you can put in whatever name you want. I can call myself Dominic Carter. Not that I but when you're on Twitter, more often than not, it can get tied back to you, which is how the guy who actually did have the Secret Service come visit him.
Do you think they know that, Andrew, when they're posting?
I think
No.
they do. I think there's a certain amount of groupthink that goes on here, a gang mentality or groupthink, where people will do things in a large group that they would otherwise not do when they were by themselves. And there is a bit of an echo chamber. So if all of your friends hate Obama, and they hate Obama because he's black, and you go on and you say something that's racist in response to the president's first tweet, it's less about, saying something really, really cutting edge, and more about like, yeah, that's right, Joe. Hey, Bob, you got, like, you get...
It just always seems like it generates so fast. You can never have it just a good dialogue. And I know, and I'm a Neanderthal about this, but anyway, it's a shame.
But what was that line you said when we started out? In the basement?
But I'm getting
In the
yelled at
basement.
by Larry. Go to
In the
break.
basement.
All right.
In the basement.
Shelley, thank you so much, number one,
pleasure.
as always.
What are we,
Guys,
some
thank
liver
you.
minutes?
When we come back, I'll give you some Hudson Valley headlines and our picture of the day. Stay with us.